Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Alexis and I am here sharing with you guys my current real estate journey and what I'm planning on doing to never go back to corporate America. So, not another 8 to 5 job. I recently got fired from my full-time job and I'm just not trying to do that again. So, my mission now is to make real estate my full-time job and live off of that. And I wanted to bring you guys along for the adventure and learn alongside with me. I'm not a pro. I just started. This would be my second-ish, third-ish project, but second property. So I have a lot to learn. I haven't been doing this for decades or anything like this. So I want to bring you guys along with what I'm trying to do and accomplish what my goal is, and that is to not go back to a desk job. So the last time what we talked about was the plumbing. So the first phase has been completed, and I did mention that inspection had been passed. So I wanted to show you what that looked like, the before and after the inspection, what the inspectors looked at. And in regards to the inspection, it does take a while, and actually they came pretty quick this time. But it really is a great thing because they check out every phase of your project to make sure that it's up to par, that these tradesmen are actually doing their work up to code, everything's right, and there it won't blow up in anyone's face at the end of the project. So it's a really great thing that they do that. So I wanted to so I'll take you guys on a walk through that so you guys could see it. But I also wanted to touch on the financial aspect of this because you might be wondering, well, how the heck do I even get started? And what I wanted to share is just basically my personal experience as to how I began and give you more in-depth information as to how you could do it if you find yourself in maybe in a similar situation that I was in when I started, but also the where I'm at now financially. All right, it was a quick disruption, but now I'm back. And what I was gonna mention is I'm still currently looking for funding now, so more credit limits uh, or higher credit limits, I should say. So that's what I'm looking for. And actually, the quick interruption that I had was the electrician. I was expecting an electrician today to come give me another quote. So he came, looked at the property. Hopefully, he'll kick something back next week, being that today's already Friday and people are not trying to work anymore. So I come to find out I actually knew who he was. We used to be neighbors back when we were kids. So hopefully that means he'll be super cool and give me a little homie discount. Just playing. But anyways, so let's go ahead and let me show you on the before and after, and then we'll come right back. Covering up them holes. All right, so this is the after. So everything got covered up, but the ground is very soft. So now you could sink into it if you run fast enough. And then here, it was also covered up, but now the remainder will be up to the concrete guy to cover it up with some cement. And then that mess needs to be cleared out eventually. So not too shabby. Okay, and we are back. So that is what that is looking like outside. The plumbing's been completely covered, and now I'm ready to bring on the concrete guy. So basically the one that'll be throwing the cement. So I'll give you a quick update on that on the next one. But like I mentioned, what I do want to touch on is the finances. So currently, right now, what I'm doing is, like I mentioned, I'm seeking higher credit limits. And the way I'm doing that is with my existing credit cards, I am requesting a credit increase, whether that's 2 grand or even 5 grand. Shoot, double it, whatever your your credit limit is now. And I have been approved for a few. And with the credit cards, it does allow me to do cash advances. So what that is I'm able to withdraw from the credit card as if it was a bank account. So I'm able to get cash out. So the reason for that is some of these tradesmen, they don't take credit card payments. It's either check or cash. Some depend on their business. If they're small, and some of these tradesmen have small companies, starters, so they're really not up to uh too keen on receiving credit card payments for whatever reason. So it's useful to pay those individuals, whether that is to withdraw the money, pay in check. And a lot of people are like, who the heck pays with check, right? You'll be surprised. Checks are used a lot in this industry. It's basically a mini contract between you as a payer and them, the payee. So them receiving it has your signature, what it was made for. So it's basically a small little contract, and you could always revert back to that image with your bank account. So I get checks from my business account, not necessarily my personal. So people still do accept and ask for check payments. So there's a fun fact. And so that's always useful. The only downfall with that is that cash advances, they do have a higher interest rate. So the first route that I try to go is through a HELOC. I did qualify for a HELOC earlier this year, and it's regardless if you withdraw it, or I mean, I wish they had a card, but there's no card tied to a HELOC. But the interest rates are always the same. It doesn't change. Well, I should say across the board, because HELOCs interest rates do fluctuate. So it could go up or down. Um, but honestly, not too drastically. They do give you a floor and a ceiling base amounts that you might see. So far this year, I haven't seen much of a change. So that's always great. But it's not to say it won't ever hit the high end of what they had said it's going to be. So with that being said, I'm currently withdrawing from the HELOC. I didn't qualify for a huge amount, at least not for what I'm trying to do. So I'm gonna max it out, and I'll resort to the credit cards. I won't hit the credit cards first. And the best thing you could also do is, as soon as you receive any kind of payment, for instance, my hopefully soon to be unemployment benefits, those that money will go directly to paying off that HELOC. And I honestly will be putting most, or if not all, of my unemployment benefits back into that HELOC, because I could always withdraw. The HELOC is very liquid, meaning you could turn it into cash at a drop of a dime. You just have to go in, request for the withdraw, and you're good to go. So that's the best route to take when you want to keep your daily balance low. And also that interest won't hit all the total amount. So it's really beneficial putting whatever money, your income that comes in, to throw it back in that HELOC, withdraw it when needed. And then but if not, for now, I will be using the income from my rentals that I do have. So again, that is the business income. And you got to be careful, because you can't really be mixing your personal and your business finances too much, because some of these things are under my personal name. But of course, the income from my rentals are under the business. So it's a little tricky. when it comes to that, because I was able to qualify for some of these credit cards and line of credits, but not my business. So it's tricky out there. It is. But that's something I'm learning to navigate myself. Because eventually, what I would want to do is get a huge line of credit under my business. So not under my personal, under my business. And the way to have these set up is if you just have a few accounts with large credit limits, not small little accounts here and there that have very small credit limits, because that sucks. Because guess what? At the end of the month, you have to pay all these little debts off here and there, and that adds up to a whole lot at the end. Versus if you were to get one or two lines of credit that you're just focused on, you could easily make the payment, and it's not so huge. It's not so heavy on you. But unfortunately, I'm somewhere in between. I do have a few lines of credit that I'll probably have to be paying here and there, spread it all out versus focusing on maybe one or two. So that is also a goal of mine, is to eventually just have one or two lines of credit and call it good. All these small credit lines are very annoying. So so that's how where I'm at now. And I believe I'll have enough to complete this project. And that's another thing. I wanted to actually give you guys a breakdown as to what so far these tradesmen have quoted me. So I wanted to compile all those quotes together so I could share that with you guys. And then I could basically let you know how I plan on executing and completing this project. Even though I don't have that amount now, I definitely will as it comes. So, with that being said, I'll be working on that to share with you guys. And then just another side note is when I started. So when I did start, it was during COVID. So I'm sure a lot of you guys experienced similar situation that you guys were just not spending too much money because we couldn't leave our four walls. So what happened during that time is, fortunately, fortunately, unfortunately, however you want to look at it, because people that were unemployed during that time were getting a lot of money. But I never was laid off, so I continued with the same income. I never got an increase. And so what I did is I just started paying off and focusing on my debt. I honestly was just really focused on doing that. And so what that allowed me to do is bring down my debt, and then my debt to income ratio then improved. And that is what finally qualified me for a mortgage. And when I went ahead and finally qualified for that mortgage, I got that ugly property. I was able to use a lot of that money that I also saved, because not only did I pay off a lot of my debt, but I was also saving because I knew that I would wanted to go into an ugly house, a fixer upper. So I went in with those intentions, had my savings ready to go. And again, I didn't have good credit, so I didn't qualify for, I think the most credit I had at that time was a Sam's Club credit card, and it might have just been like $3,000, but it did allow for a cash advance. So that's another thing. A lot of these tradesmen, if you pay them cash, they'll give you a discounted price. So that's what I was kind of aiming for. I'm like, okay, well, perfect. I'll go ahead, give them, pay at the discounted price, and then I'll just deal with the interest rate later. Because a lot of you might be like, well, the interest rate is basically now eating you up, those savings that you gave him. It's true, but I didn't have to worry about it in the moment when I didn't have that money. I'll just worry about it later. You got to do what you got to do. It might be crazy. It's not very efficient. Dave Ramsey wouldn't agree with me. But you know what? It got the job done, and I accomplished what I wanted to do. And whether that at the end of the project, I ended up paying a little more than, if I would have just paid credit from the get-go, so be it. But I was able to get things moving and accomplished and done with. So, and that comes a lot, like when you're looking at things you're going to spend on, was it an asset or a liability? Assets, if they're going to make you money, if they're going to make money back and pay back what you've spent on it, by all means. But if you're spending on liabilities, consumer debt, things that will never make a penny for you, that's a lose-lose situation. And you definitely don't want to be splurging on those kind of things. Come income tax season, a lot of people get tax return. Please save that money or put it towards a rehab. Do not spend on dumb things. Do not. Don't get the latest iPhone. Don't get the latest anything. You don't need it. You don't need it. So please, if it's not going to make any money, don't spend any money on it. Or waste is a better term for it. So that's basically what I did. And because I have a sister that she has great credit, I ended up asking to borrow her credit card. And she had a credit card limit of 15,000. So I was like, let me use it. And I honestly didn't think I was going to use it all, but I did. So I ended up running up her credit card. But that was actually the cherry on top that allowed me to complete that project. But guess what? I was able to pay her back. So I don't even owe her anything. And thank God to the assets, right? Because it paid them back. The assets pay you back. So I was able to accomplish my goal, pay off my sister, and still make income. Sounds like an asset to me. So that's where I would definitely start paying off your debt, because that is where these credit bureaus will be looking at is your debt to income ratio. And of course, your credit score, but it'll improve if your debt decreases, correct? So it's important that that's what you focus on, and just laser focus on that, because that's what I did. Laser focus, get it done. And you could get it done sooner than later. It's not going to take you years and years. Trust me. You'll get it done sooner than later if you really are motivated enough to accomplish this. So I will be working on those things. I do have some updates in regards to what I'll be doing here in the next few months. A few things that I'm involved with, and I wanted to share that with you guys. So stay tuned for the next video. And if you like this one, make sure to actually go back to the beginning of my journey, which isn't even it's just a few videos back. But of course, like and subscribe and tune in for my next video. And I will meet you again next week.